I have a very good topic for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's about lever action rifles, and it's about where the lever action rifle concept is going today.
The apropos of today's video is the 3030 Winchester centerfire cartridge and the rifle that shoots it. In this case, the new Pedersoli Draton lever action. A rifle based on the 1886 and the model 71 rifles. These are the first shots I fired with this lever gun. The distance is 50 meters and the rifle is straight out of box. The Droptine is designed for the modern time hunters, and it's competing against the most modern hunting rifle designs on the market today.
Let's check it. Well, I have quite a few good lever action rifles in my collection, from the oldest to the newest. The first one is the 1873 Winchester. This is a reproduction made by Bertie in 44-40 caliber. You have seen many films about this on my YouTube channel. The second one I have is an 1886 model rifle. It's an original in 45-90 caliber, so it's an express rifle. It's a beautiful shooter, still perfectly operating. The next one is also an Bertie Repro. It's an 1894 Winchester rifle. This was the first ever Winchester rifle that was chambered for smokeless cartridges, and of course the frame was also much smaller than in case of the 1886, so it was a lighter and a more comfortable rifle. The next one is also an original. It's a model 1895 Winchester rifle. This one was the first one to have a box magazine instead of the tubular magazine, which means that you could use the pointed bullets for these rifles as well. And the last rifle and the most modern rifle I have in my collection is a Pedersoli reproduction. It's an 86x71 model Winchester lever action rifle in 45-70 caliber. If you are a lever action rifle fan like me, then you know that I have still some rifles that are missing from my collection. First of all, I don't have a Volcanic. That was the very beginning of the whole story. But the Volcanic is very hard to feed, for example, because of the racquetball. Second, they are very rare and very expensive. That's the third one. That's the biggest problem. And I don't have also an Bertie Repro of the Henry rifle, because the original here is also very, very expensive. But the Bertie Henry, it will be a star of a later show, that's for sure. And I also don't have a model 1875 model Winchester, which is the larger frame version of the model 1873 Winchester. It still has the toggle link action, but it's a more strong, it's a bigger frame rifle for heavier cartridges, stronger cartridges. And I don't have the model 1892 rifle, which is a John Moses Browning design, and it is technically the scaled down version of the model 1886, chambered for the most popular pistol cartridges like the 44-40, for example. But I'm pretty sure that these rifles will sometimes come into this collection. A decade ago, it seemed like that the lever action concept is nothing more than a part of the firearms history. But this was completely wrong. New lever action rifles like the Pedersoli model 86x71 rifles, well, they just prove that this is completely wrong, because this story is alive. These rifles are reliable, rugged, strong, accurate. They are fast also, so they have everything that you need for really intensive, adventurous hunting. And this is actually what I have been using for tracking wounded game with my dog. I have an old hunting dog, Cedar. She's a Hanover bloodhound, and we used to track wounded game. That's the most interesting and most challenging hunt you can ever have. Tracking the blood trail of a wounded game for kilometers, and then, oh man, you're tired. And then chasing it, well, that's a beautiful adventurous hunt. For this kind of hunting, you technically need a reliable rifle, a very good reliable rifle, a rugged rifle that is accurate and that bullet can penetrate through bushes as well. And of course you need a very good dog like Cedar, because she's a very clever dog. But she's definitely not a film star.
Our counterpart in this competition is the trusty old 45-70 cartridge and the classic Pedersoli lever action rifle. The cartridge is the soft-tip Hornady Lever Revolution cartridge, and the rifle is the Pedersoli 1886 Classic with a 26-inch barrel, straight stock, and absolutely authentic feel. This rifle is made from wood and steel, just as in John Moses Browning's time. The distance is the same 50 meters.
Ladies and gentlemen, and these are the group sizes of the two rifles. This is the 30-30 at 50 meter. It's a very decent group, well within the size of the 10 ring, very close to the inner 10 ring. And that is the trusty 4570. And if you check that group, unfortunately my target camera died while I was shooting, but if you check that group, it tells a lot about which caliber I do shoot more often. But I love them both. So I really have to say that, okay, I'm in love with the classic 1886 rifle. And the action is very smooth, the balance of this rifle, it's heavier, but the balance of the rifle is much closer to my heart. But on the other hand, I really have to say that if I was hunting with modern guns, I would still stick with the lever action concept. I'm not really into bolt action rifles or any kind of straight pull action rifles. So for me, still the lever action seems to be the most comfortable, but that's my own personal preference. And if I wanted to hunt with a modern rifle, I would surely go for something like this.
I reload my cartridges for this rifle with a semi-jacketed hollow point bullet made by Sierra, loaded with Victavori powder, and it is a tech driver. It is absolutely fitting the needs I have. Actually, this rifle was the very first in the Pedersoli family of lever action rifles. But now it is a very wide range. It is offered in many calibers like the 444 Marlin, 4570 of course, and also now in 30-30 Winchester center fire, which is a really good and popular cartridge even today. Let's talk about the history of the Model 71 rifle. But before we go on, let me thank you for your support, your donation through Patreon, or buying our authentic American Civil War cartridge boxes, or percussion revolver cartridge formers, or US Arsenal stadias, or powder measure sets, or flintlock tools, or rubber printing plates for Arsenal cartridge bundles. They all help to keep the quality of our channel high. Without you, this would be much more difficult. So thank you very much again. So the Pedersoli reproduction is actually based on the Model 71 model. And there are minor modifications, minor differences compared to the original 1886 model. The most important one is the action. The action is a bit stronger because the Model 71 rifle was chambered mostly for the 348 Winchester cartridge, which was much more powerful than the 4570 cartridge. So minor modifications were made to the frame to accept the increased gas pressure. The second, and probably the biggest modification of all, is that the hammer here, it has a coil spring instead of a leaf spring. But in fact, the complete look of the rifle and the mechanism is nearly the same. So John Moses Browning was really clever because only really minor modifications were needed. So the rifle could now fire a much more strong cartridge. The Model 71 was manufactured between 1935 and 1957, and more than 47,000 pieces were manufactured. The Model 71 rifle was equipped with a pistol grip and a higher com stock, it's a straighter stock, which means that it could handle the recoil of the heavier cartridge much better. And it was also equipped with a shorter magazine, accepting only 5 cartridges.
And the stronger action was actually needed because the average pressure, the CIP average pressure of the 4570 cartridge is 2200 bars, while the average pressure of the 348 Winchester rifle round is 3200. That's a lot of increment. The 348 Winchester was actually one of the very first short magnum cartridges. It's a powerful cartridge, but the bullet diameter is quite odd, which means that it was never easy to find reloading components for this cartridge, so it never really caught up. It could never ever replace the 4570, the good old reliable 4570. But still, it's a very interesting and good cartridge. The Model 71 is definitely a formidable hunting rifle, and even if many think that the lever action concept is outdated, it is completely not true. It is absolutely in parallel with the straight pull action rifles and also in parallel with the bolt action rifles. I strongly believe that it is even faster than those. So the lever action revolution is back. There are many companies that are putting new rifles on the market with new designs, of course based on the original historical designs, but we can even find tactical lever action rifles on the market, which seems bad, but actually they are quite interesting because they keep the lever action concept alive. And why I say that the lever action concept is not dead? I have very simple reasons. The first one is the introduction of the soft tip bullets. The soft tip bullets solve the long problem of the tube magazines, that in a tube magazine you must have a flat nose or a round nose bullet, otherwise one cartridge can set off the other cartridge due to the recoil, which is dangerous. But the soft tip solves this, so you can have a pointed bullet in any magazine, in any tubular magazine rifle, which is very good because you have a beautiful ballistics performance, a beautiful external ballistics. Second, these rifles are completely modular. You can change the forend, you can change the stock, you can add an elevating cheek piece here, you can add any kind of sight, like a peep sight, open sight, or a red dot, or long eye relief scope, or normal scope. You can put everything on the rifle. Pedersoli even has a lever that has a bigger loop, an interchangeable lever that has a bigger loop, so you can very easily change it in winter times when you must wear the gloves. Third, people usually say that it is much harder to find a scope mount for lever action rifles, and this is partially true because it is a bit more difficult to put a scope on an 1886 rifle than on a bolt action rifle. But nowadays nearly every company, including Pedersoli, is offering side mounts for normal scopes, so you can actually have one. It's easy to access. Or you can put a weaver rail on the barrel. The barrels on the Pedersoli rifles are pre-drilled for the weaver rail or Picatinny rail, where you can attach a long eye relief scope. So it is now very easy to find the proper sight for your rifle. Fourth, I strongly believe that the lever action rifle concept is the fastest from all repeating rifle concepts. Why? Because you have your rifle in the shoulder, look through the sights, have your eye on the game, and just fire, repeat, and pull the trigger, and you don't have to move the rifle from your shoulder. Fifth, most of these rifles that are marketed today by the companies like Pedersoli, they are threaded at the muzzle, meaning that they can accept any kind of suppressor. Sixth, okay, the caliber range is smaller than in case of the straight pull action rifles and the bolt action rifles, but it is still enough because a 4570 or 444 Marlin or a 3030, they can handle any big game in North America or in Europe. So this is more than adequate for any kind of hunting method in our culture. The Droptine rifle is a good proof of this.
The Droptine is based on the Model 71 design and it features a 30-30 caliber 19-inch barrel. It's a Pedersoli match-grade barrel. The stock is polymer with an easily adjustable cheek piece. The butt pad is a comfortable microcell butt pad, reducing recoil to a really comfortable level. The action has a traditional hammer safety, but also tank safety for maximum security. The form of the lever loop is redesigned to be more comfortable and a bit larger. The rifle is equipped with fiber optic sights and a Picatinny rail, so adding a scope or a red dot is quite easy. The muzzle is threaded, so attaching a suppressor is possible out of the box. The total length of the rifle is only 950 millimeters.
And the rifle is light. It is only 3.8 kilos. It's very comfortable. Let's do the offhand stuff. It's a quite comfortable little beast. I have 1, 2, 3 shots in the size of the 10 ring, one is a bit out into the 9, and I have a flyer of course, because out of 5 shots you always must have a flyer, and I have it. It's a good rifle. It's a good rifle. The 30-30 recoil is very, very low, so it's very comfortable. Yeah, good gun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy that the lever action concept is still with us and it's evolving with the other hunting rifles. And I really have to say that these plastic modern lever action guns are good. So if you're a modern time hunter, then I'm pretty sure that you will find what you're looking for in a good hunting rifle if you choose a lever action design, even if it's a modern or classic one. But for me, still the classic is the classic. And probably this is why I still shoot better with these original style guns. I love it. 45-70 rules. Well, I know that most of us on the authentic side, and I have to admit that I like wood and I like steel, so I'm not a fan of plastic. But there are advantages of the modern rifles, because the new rifles, they actually meet the 21st century standards for hunting rifles, and they also have one very important benefit, that they create manufacturing quantities for the producers, which can keep the price of the classic rifles low as well, which is very, very good for us. So the lever action concept is still alive and well, and it proves its place today among all the repeating rifle concepts. So I have many good reasons to trust the lever action rifles, and the most important reason of all is that they look terrific. And the feel, when you open and close the lever, well, you are never going to get it with any kind of bolt action rifle or straight pull action rifle, and that's for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Capandball YouTube channel. If you like what I do, then you can support me through Patreon or by buying our products. You can find the link to the eBay store and also to our online store in the description of the video. If you like the content I create, then please subscribe to the channel. Like, share and comment the videos. These will all help the channel to grow. So ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.